investing. Which one should you do? Well, the first thing I think you should know is that it should almost never be just one or the other. Growing up, I heard a lot of talk about saving money. It's something that's been drilled in me from a very young age when I was told, you know, I shouldn't just spend all my money, I should save some for a rainy day, I should save some for retirement or for college or whatever big thing I saw coming up on the horizon. However, I never much liked saving money because it always felt a little bit pointless. It felt like, well, I can either spend it now or I can spend it later, and even if I save it until later, I'm not going to have more money. Of course, it's more fun to spend your money now. We get more instant gratification, and so that made me really not want to save money, and I was really bad at saving money for a really long time. And even though I now have a deeper understanding of the importance of saving money, I can still relate back to that feeling that I used to have. Saving on its own is kind of futile. You can either be poor now or you can be poor later. You can not spend that money now so you have it later, or you can spend it now and not have it later. And saving the money isn't really going to increase your wealth or make you become rich. Of course, that's not to say that we shouldn't save our money. Saving money is important because sometimes stuff happens in the future that we didn't expect and we need to have some money to fall back on. So it's good to save, especially any extra money that we have now, for those rainy days in the future. However, saving on its own is never going to make you wealthy, even if you're really good at saving now. Unless you have a very high-paying job and you save a lot, you're never going to become wealthy by saving alone. On the other hand though, you can't invest only either. You can't invest unless you have something to invest, and so saving is a necessary part of that equation. Big picture, how this works is we need to save money so that we have money to invest, but then we need to invest money to grow our savings and in turn build our wealth. Whenever we make money, we pretty much have three options of what we can do with it. First of all, we could spend it, second, we could save it, and third, we could invest it. If we spend it, then we will have a thing, but we will no longer have the money. And if that thing that we purchase is something that we would really value or would really help us in our lives, then that might be the best choice. But as Will Rogers said, too many people spend money they earn to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. And that's definitely a trap that is very real and that we want to avoid. There's some times when it makes sense to spend our money, but too often we spend our money on things we don't want just to impress people we don't even like, and then we go back to a job we don't like to make more money so that we can repeat the cycle over and over again. Now, as for the other two options, saving and investing, as I just explained, neither one makes all that much sense on its own. Saving can't make you rich, and investing is impossible if you haven't saved in the first place. So we need to create a plan of how we can do both of these effectively. Okay, so let's move on to part 2 of this video, which is a plan for how to get started, because it's all well and good to understand that both saving and investing are important, but it can be awfully hard to get started. You might have no idea where to invest your money or how much money to save. Now, first of all, since you can't invest until you have saved some money to invest, you have to start with saving. You have to start by setting a little bit of money aside every single month so that you eventually accumulate enough to actually make a substantial investment. But then the next thing that you need to do right away is to start planning your investment. Because if you don't start planning now, then you'll probably put it off indefinitely. You'll start procrastinating on it, and it will become one of those things that you tell yourself over and over again you're going to start doing, but you never get around to actually doing. So you need to make a plan of what you're going to invest in, how much you're going to invest, and when you're going to do that. You need to put it on the calendar. Now, I know that right now you might have no idea what you could invest in. When you hear the word invest, you might only think of one option, and that is stocks or stocks and bonds. You might have no idea how to get started with that, and you might feel like that's really risky. But later on in this video, I'm going to share with you several other ways that you can invest, some of which have much higher returns and much lower risk. Okay, so at this point, you've started saving some money every month and you've made a plan of when you're going to invest and what you're going to invest in. So now you can use that information, that decision you've made, to inform how much money you should save. So let's say that you were just going to buy stocks and you decided, okay, in 3 months time, I am going to buy 100 shares of this specific stock, or I'm going to buy into the S&P 500 for this many dollars with a stockbroker, okay? However you decide you're going to do it, that can then inform your savings goal, and you can say, okay, each month I need to save $30, or each month I need to save $100 or $500, whatever it is, so that you actually reach that goal in the time that you have given yourself to reach it, and you can successfully make your first investment. Always keep in mind that baby steps are often the best way to accomplish big goals. If you keep waiting until you have tens of thousands of dollars to invest, then it's entirely possible that you'll never accumulate that much money, you'll never make your first investment, and you'll never start to get that snowball effect happening. Once you've figured out how much you need to save every month, the final step that you can take to ensure that this actually happens is to pay yourself first. The fact is that if you wait until the end of the month to set aside that money that you plan to save, chances are there won't be any money left to save. So instead, whenever you get your paycheck, whenever you make a buck, just immediately set aside that amount of money that you have ahead of time planned to save so that you can later invest it. Now, of course, you always have the option to choose either a percentage of your income or a specific dollar figure to invest each month. Personally, even though my income fluctuates quite a bit from one month to the next, I found it's a lot easier to be consistent with my saving goals if I choose a specific dollar amount and I set that aside every month. However, for some people, it might make more sense to choose a percentage because that can help you to account for those months when your income might be higher or lower for any given reason. And here is another quote that just reinforces this point that savings alone will not get you to your end goal. And this quote is from Robert G. Allen, and he says, "How many millionaires do you know who've become wealthy by investing in savings accounts? I rest my case." And so that just kind of goes to show that simply socking your money away either under your mattress or even in a low yield savings account that's paying you perhaps a percentage point a year and often even less than that, it's not going to do it. It's not ever going to make you wealthy, and it's probably not going to create financial freedom for you. All right, so let's move on to the third part of this video now and talk about some of the different investment options, because I know that at least for me growing up, there was only one investment option that I was really aware of, and it seemed scary and foreign and very risky, and so I didn't invest for a long time. And that option I'm talking about, of course, is stocks and bonds, and it just seemed like a foreign language. So I'm going to share with you the different large categories of investments that you might want to consider, and of course there is much more information that could be said about this, much more you can learn about each of these different options and different subsets within each of these larger categories, but I hope that this just helps to get the ball rolling in your mind so that you understand all of the different options that are out there. Okay, so the four biggest categories of investments are, first of all, stocks and bonds, second of all, precious metals, third, businesses, and fourth, real estate. Now, each of these different types of investments grows your wealth in slightly different ways. Of course, if you buy stocks, then you may be paid dividends on that stock if that company's value increases, or you can later sell that stock and perhaps earn a profit if the price that you sell the stock for is greater than the price that you bought it for. On the other hand, precious metals certainly aren't going to pay you dividends, but you can buy them and hold them for a relatively long period of time, and the price of precious metals tends to go up over time, so you can make money that way. Now, business is perhaps the wildest of cards in this pile of different investment options. You could either invest in your own business by choosing to start a business and investing some initial startup capital into that business, or if you already have a business, you can invest into either advertising your business to get more customers, improving your systems, or new machinery or equipment in your business so that you can handle larger orders. There are many different ways that you can spend money in your business to be able to grow your business and make more money with your business. You also could choose to invest in someone else's business. This is similar to what's happening when you buy a stock. However, here I'd be talking about a company that isn't already being traded publicly. You could invest into a startup as an angel investor, just as an example. And then finally, with real estate, even in that one category, there are actually many different ways that you can invest your money and earn income from it. You could choose to purchase a rental property and then make money every single month from the rental payments if they are above your monthly expenses on the property. You also could invest in a property, wait for it to appreciate, and then sell it later. You could invest in it and fix it up and then flip it and make a profit that way. There are many different ways you can profit from a real estate investment, and it could be many videos all on its own. All right, so in this video, we have covered three main things. First of all, kind of the difference between saving and investing, which one you should do, and of course the answer is you really should do both, especially if you want to plan to increase your wealth in the future. Second, we talked about a really simple plan for getting started. First of all, by saving money, because you can't really get started with any of this unless you save some money first, and then creating a plan of how you're going to invest, using that to inform how much money you're saving every single month. And then finally, committing to paying yourself first every single month. And then in the third part of this video, I gave you a brief overview of some of the different types of investment options that are out there. Now, I just want to wrap this all up with one more quote. And this quote is from Warren Buffett, and it gives you some big picture investing strategy advice. And this specifically applies to the stock market, but it applies to almost any different type of investment that you might consider. Warren Buffett says, "I will tell you the secret to getting rich on Wall Street. You try to be greedy when others are fearful, and you try to be fearful when others are greedy." So basically, this all comes back to that principle of when everyone sees a good opportunity, chances are it's not really a good opportunity. It's too late for that opportunity. Too many people are already pouncing on it, and it already has gotten expensive. But on the other hand, when there is a new opportunity that people are still seeing as risky, that's when it's going to actually be a good deal, and that's the right time to buy. Now, of course, this advice comes with all sorts of disclaimers. I am by no means a financial advisor, and I highly recommend that you speak with a qualified professional before making any significant financial decisions or choosing to invest in any opportunities. If you liked this video, please do go ahead and hit that like button to let me know. Also consider subscribing to my channel for 2 new videos every single week. You can click my face right over there in the corner to subscribe, and you'll get a new video on entrepreneurship, success, and personal development every single Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Gillian Perkins, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.